Howdy, all you home cooks just like me. I am Chef Boyardee, and today we're going to be making some cowboy stew. It's getting that time of year, the weather's getting a little cooler, and it's time to make something that warms you up in the evening and gets you ready for that TV show or whatever you enjoy doing in the evening. And as always, here's that disclaimer. I'm not a chef, I'm not a cook, I have really no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a single guy living by himself that likes to cook and figure out what tastes good and what doesn't. And this is something that my dad used to make, and you know, he would make it in the crock pot, and with the invention of the Instant Pots, we can take that all-night cook and make it into a less than an hour cook, and it's just as delicious. So I've already prepared most of my stuff. We're just gonna kind of put it in that crock pot. See, there I go. We're not putting it in a crock pot, we're putting it in an Instant Pot. All right, here we go. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on into saute mode, right? Most of these Instant Pots have a saute mode, and that's gonna allow us to kind of get our meat a little bit browned and cooked before we start the rest of it. We're gonna let that warm up a little bit. We have a little bit of oil in there. I already put it in. You can use whatever kind of oil you prefer. It just kind of helps the meat not stick and kind of cook it up a little bit better. Maybe, I don't know. Everybody I've watched on YouTube, that's what they do, so that's what I do as well. So once that gets hot here in a minute, we're gonna go ahead and start putting our meat in. And I've already pre-seasoned my meat, and I just used some seasoning that I got at the store for hamburger or steak. You can do, and then I added some salt to it and some pepper and some other things. You can season your meat however you want. It's your stew, you do it your way. I'm not gonna tell you what you like. I'm just gonna show you how to cook it, all right? So here we go. We got our little bit of, what I did instead of hamburger this time, I put chopped up steak in there, right? So let's just dump that in there. And we're gonna wanna stir that, and we're gonna keep stirring that until it gets browned. All right, we're gonna start cooking that a little bit right now until it gets brown. All right, here we go. I'm gonna pull this forward just a little bit, and we'll just pray that it doesn't mess up any of the video, right? So just keep stirring that, and we'll be right back once that gets a little bit brown. See you in a minute. All right, once it starts to get sizzling and starts to brown, what I like to do is add in my onions. You can't have a cowboy stew without onions, right? We love onions, they love us, they're good for us, and they add a nice little taste. So we're gonna add that in now. That way, as we stir those in, they can start to caramelize, and you kind of wanna stir them with your meat until they become a little bit transparent, translucent, whatever the word is. That's what you want to do. That's going to get them ready to be nice and soft. All right, this is where if I start crying, it's not my fault, I promise. It's these. I'm recording, so I don't have the fan on. That way we don't mess up the audio. So I'm getting that whole burst of onion in my face. And we're just going to keep stirring those. You know, it just takes a few minutes to get that meat brown and those onions a little bit cooked in there. All right. Again, I'll see you in a minute when we're ready to add our next ingredient. All right, welcome back. I'm just gonna cut in here for a second just to remind you that you gotta stir that often. You don't want any of this sticking in the bottom of your Instant Pot, or you'll get this little burn air when you're cooking, and we don't want that. So just stir it around a little bit. It's fine. Everything is going to get cooked just great. Okay. So now we've got, it's getting there pretty good. All right. I don't have another third camera fancy setup, so we're not going to show you the inside of this. Plus, you know what, to be honest with you, the last time I tried this, the steam just kind of messed up the whole thing. And we're just gonna skip it this time. You guys can just imagine what it looks like in there. How's that sound? All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in some fire roasted diced tomatoes. All right, we're just gonna put a can of that in there. Then we're gonna add some corn, right? I got fire roasted corn because you know what? It'll match my potatoes. And I'm not measuring anything. Measuring's for chumps or professionals or people that actually know what they're doing. So I'm just gonna stir that in there and let that get a little bit hot. So I went ahead and used the juice from the tomatoes in there. I did drain the water from the corn, just so you know. All right. We're getting it there. Now what I've got here, I've never done this before, but I figured let's just try it because it's all about trying new things. This is bell peppers and carrots. Of course, I've added carrots to it, but I've never added bell peppers. But I thought it might give it a nice little extra zing or whatever we want to call it. So I'm gonna just mix those up real good. Oh yeah. Then I've got half a can of chilies because I like a little zing in my food. All right. Now I'm going to add, we're going to start with 1 cup of beef broth. And you're going to get some juice when you pressure cook it from all the other stuff. So you don't need a whole lot in here, especially if you like me, you like it a little thick. So 1 cup seems to be just perfect for me. Then I'm going to add in, I've got some red pinto beans here. You can add as many as you want. It's going to turn it maybe from a soup to a chili, or a stew. See, I don't know what I'm doing, but it all looks good. It's already starting to smell good. And then we're going to add in our taters. And what I did is I just diced up some of those little mini potatoes that you get. I just quartered them and added them into this. Mix it all up nice. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and turn off saute mode. Then we're gonna take and put our lid. Make sure you put your sealing in the sealed position and put your lid on. And we're gonna program this on pressure cook for 50 minutes, 50 minutes. Beep. You don't have to push nothing. It'll beep in a second, and that means we're cooking. I'm gonna get my workstation area cooked up. How about we say cleaned up? And then I will see you guys in about an hour, right? 50 minutes plus the time it takes to get to pressure. Then we'll stir through this, we'll give it a taste test and see how we did. See you in 50 minutes. All right, welcome back. Although that seemed like forever for me, it was about an hour. It's probably pretty quick for you because, you know, the magic of editing, right? We're not gonna make you wait a whole hour just sitting here literally watching the pot cook. So, one thing I forgot to add before I closed up our last little piece. When this is done and the alarm goes off, it's best to let the pressure cooker natural release for 8 to 10 minutes or so. It keeps you from making a mess and it makes it a little safer, and who knows? I hear it a lot. Maybe it does something for the food inside, but it is time to release that. So we're gonna get our little glove. You wanna be careful, even if you've let this natural release, you never know, that steam is really hot. So be careful and just kind of flick that over into release, and whew, see, there was still steam in there. So I'm glad we wore the glove because that would have hurt. So we're gonna let that steam out. You'll know it's done because basically the steam will stop and their little pin will drop, and that then will allow you to open this thing up. So let's give this a minute to release and I'll be right back. Okay, our pin has dropped, and so we're gonna go ahead and open up this lid and give it our first little look and smell test. Here we go. Again, always be careful opening this. Look at that, steam effects. Woo, that's called practical effects, not special effects. All right, we're gonna hook our little lid. We're gonna give this a stir. Oh yeah. Yeah, that looks amazing. So we're gonna stir that around a little bit, and then we'll put some here in our bowl and we'll taste it. Give it that good old taste test. All right, here we go. Nice and thick, just the way I like it. Again, if you like it a little less thick, you can add a little more broth or liquids. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of that liquid in there. That's gonna be super hot. I didn't grab a spoon. 1 second, please. Also, please forgive my phone from dinging. All right, here we go. So you're gonna also wanna salt and pepper this to taste at this point, or add whatever you like to it. I didn't overly spice it because somebody that likes to eat dinner with me doesn't like a lot of spices. So you can add those later, or add a little touch of hot sauce is usually what I do. But let's give this a natural taste. Now I did season the meat. Too hot to really get a good taste, but oh, let me give it one more try. Let me get a piece of that beef in there and some of that corn. Hats off to that. Woo! All right, so again, season that to taste, serve it with a nice old hunk of bread, and enjoy your dinner, and we'll see you next time. This is Chef Boy Ali. Have a good day.